Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes. Give everyone an extra minute to join. While we're waiting for others to join, this is our second webinar and our final webinar before early giving opens and Texoma Gives starts. So if you have any specific topics or questions that you would like to put in the chat or in the Q&A, I'm going to try to get to everything. We have some specific items we're going to cover, but knowing what you all need to know, hopefully I can also get to a few of those as well. See if there's any frequently asked questions in the chat. So go ahead and put those extra questions in the chat or items you're working on that you need help with, and we will see what we can do about getting to those as well. All right, well, we'll jump into it. Hopefully if anyone joins us late, they won't miss too much. But my name is Grace. I am with Mightycause. I'm the project manager here for Texoma Gives. So I work directly with Leslie on the Texoma Gives campaign. I wanted to let you all know Leslie is on jury duty today, so it's just you and me. If you have any event-specific questions that we cannot get to, you can email Leslie directly. Hopefully we'll cover everything. But again, put questions in the chat if you have any coming into the webinar, and we will try to get to all of them. Please also put questions in the chat as we go through the webinar, and I'll be able to check the chat between each topic so we can see what questions need to be addressed. I do want to remind everyone early giving, as you'll see on the screen, starts in 2 weeks. So we're getting very close. Hopefully everyone on this webinar is registered for Texoma Gives, has at least filled out the registration form. And then we are going to touch on the to-do list in just a moment because you do still have some time to do that. So no worries if you're still kind of finalizing your page, but we definitely want to make sure everyone is set up and ready to go in 2 weeks for early giving. So very exciting. We will jump right into it. So today we're going to cover fundraising tools. But before I do that, I do, as I mentioned, want to touch on the to-do list. That is the final step before registration is complete. So I'm signed in as Leslie right now just to kind of show you the view from the Wichita Area Falls Community Foundation. As you'll see, she also has a to-do list item left, so you're not alone if that's you. The EFT setup is something that our team has to approve, so you may see that it's not checked off yet. That is totally fine. Our team is going through and approving weekly or reviewing the EFT setup requests weekly. So that is something that will check itself off once we've reviewed and approved your EFT request. If you have other items unchecked, these are things that we need you to go in and do. So once you're logged in, you will be on your organization dashboard. If for some reason you don't see your organization in your dropdown, and now Leslie has a lot because she's managing the fund pages, if you do not have an organization in your dropdown, just make sure that you signed in with the email that is associated with your organization, whether that's your work email, ideally, or if for some reason you used a personal email, just test another login if you feel like you're in the wrong place. Once you're logged in, you'll see a few notes in the overview. Donations are disabled. This is okay. Donations will open on August 22nd, so don't worry about that. It will note if your setup is incomplete. This means you have those to-do list items. So if you sign in and you see that message, you'll also probably see that your registration's pending, most likely because your to-do list is incomplete. You will just click on the to-do list up here. There's a red dot to help you find it. And then you can click on each item to open more information. This will show you what you're missing in your to-do list. So you may be missing, ideally you've got your logo by now, but if you're missing it, you can just click on logo and it's going to take you to the right place to upload that. One of the things we saw that was commonly not set up yet is the thank you page. So be sure that you go in and click thank you page. It's going to take you right to this setup page where you can create your thank you message. Once you've created your message, you'll click save. Once you click save, that item should check off. So that is one of the items we noticed was pretty commonly missed right now. So definitely check your thank you page. Again, if EFT setup is the only thing you're missing, That's totally fine. Our team is getting to those requests. You will just want to click on this item and review that you have submitted a request for the EFT setup, because if you have not submitted a request, obviously we can't review it. So once you've created everything in your to-do list, you will, once you are approved, see your registration for Texoma Gives 2024 is approved here. So that's how you'll know that you're approved. You can also see if you're approved by searching in the live search. This is a great way. If I were to search the foundation right now, they're not going to show up. So you can also do a search to see if you're approved, because then you'll be listed in the nonprofit search listing. I'm going to take a moment and check the chat for any questions about the to-do list. I don't see anything about the to-do list yet. I do see some great questions in there, so I'm going to get through the content we have today, and then I will be coming back to those questions at the end. We are going over fundraising tools today. So really, two main tools we want to talk about are the peer-to-peer campaigns and the matching grants. Mightycause is a subscription service, so you'll see some grayed out boxes with little symbols about different levels. You can subscribe to get additional features added to your dashboard. These are not necessary to run the campaign. If you wanted to add anything extra, you can click on these and contact our team. But we are working with the features that are included today, so you don't have to do anything extra to access these. You'll just want to get logged in. Once again, you'll log in, you'll go to your dashboard. Sometimes the dashboard will be closed. I do want to note you'll see these 3 dots here. If for some reason your dashboard is closed, you can open it up again. So if anyone thinks their dashboard's missing, that's an easy way to find it. I will start with campaigns. So these are your peer-to-peer campaigns. When you have peer-to-peer campaigns created, you will see a list of them here. So this is a great way to see the campaigns that have been published for your organization. One of the important things with the peer-to-peer campaigns that I would say is the fundraiser template. So again, under fundraising tools, you have campaigns. Those are existing campaigns. And then you can create fundraiser templates to help your supporters when they go to fundraise for your organization. So to create a new template, you'll just click Create. And then you'll fill in all of the information here to create a template so that when organizers go to your page to create a peer-to-peer fundraising campaign, they can just use your template, which just helps them start from something that is not a blank page. So to show you what that looks like, since this one's blank here, if you were to fill in a template, this is on our demo site. Your admin note is something that is just for you to identify. No one else will see this. So you can just call it, maybe you're doing it for your board members. You want them to do a peer-to-peer campaign. You could call it board member campaign template. That's just an internal note for you. You can title the fundraiser for an individual. So you'll see here it has name for Animal Humane Society. That just helps if your person creates a template to kind of help them customize a little bit, asking them to put their name in there. Sometimes, depending on the population you're working with, you may not want to put anything customizing in there and let them customize on their own. Maybe they do just want to click and go. So you could just do fundraiser for Animal Humane Society in this case. You can also set a funding goal. So this would just create the goal bar for their peer-to-peer fundraising page. And I will show you what this looks like on the other side when we're done with this. But the funding goal is here, and then a fundraiser image. A lot of times, the hardest thing about getting a peer-to-peer fundraiser out there and to get attention from donors is that there's no image. So when you look in the search, you'll notice they don't have an image and it looks like a blank campaign. I think we're all kind of in tune with media literacy. And if you see something without an image, you're always a little suspicious of that page. Is it real? Is it active? So making sure that your peer-to-peer fundraisers have an image on their page is important. You can also recommend a short story for them. This is a great place for you to just copy paste something off of your website. You don't need to make anything new necessarily, but copy pasting something off of your website into this box, or a short message that you've been using for the Texoma Gives campaign is another great thing to put here, just to give them something to show their donors as their peer-to-peer fundraising. You'll notice this has a 100-character limit, so this is really just a quick sentence about what the fundraiser is for. And then here in the story section is where you can really get creative, telling a story about a program. Ideally, the peer-to-peer fundraiser We'll update this with some personal message about why they're connected to your organization. I have had organizations put questions here to help someone kind of prompt what they should put in the template. I do, again, think depending what population you're working with, you may not want those questions to be the story template, because if someone doesn't update them, that is what the donor will see. But if you are working with a group closely, you could always put that in there. But again, just putting some kind of content so that your peer-to-peer fundraising supporters have something there when they start really helps them feel comfortable on the site. It helps if they have any kind of questions about how to add an image. If they're struggling with an upload, they don't have to worry about it. You've done it for them. So a few items that just kind of take something off their plate. As we know, peer-to-peer supporters are great. A lot of the times, the most influential of them are very busy. That's why they're influential. So being able to set something up for them ahead of time just really helps ensure that they feel like it's easy and quick to set up that page. Now, on the front end, if I were fundraising for the Animal Humane Society in this case, if I'm a supporter and you link me your page and you say, hey, click fundraise, set up a peer-to-peer campaign for me. When I click fundraise, it's going to ask if I want to get started. Obviously, it's going to tell me what I'm doing. And then it's going to offer to use the template provided by the organization. And there's a little info hover here that kind of tells them you have a template provided by the organization. Again, they can uncheck this and start from scratch. They'll get a completely blank page. But if I were to use the template that I just showed you that was all filled out, when I click Build Your Fundraiser, you'll see it shows up with a lot of information already filled in. So here's that goal we put in on the back end. Here's that short story sentence right here. We've got the image. We've got the full story here. And then the giving activity is already activated. So the donations as they come in will have a little donation feed. You will notice that there are a couple other items I can add. So if I'm a peer-to-peer fundraiser and I want to connect an Instagram, or if I want to put a duration of the fundraiser so that I can, say this ends on, I guess, September 5th, end of the day, you can put a time countdown there. But as I mentioned, now they don't have to really fill anything in. Ideally, they'll change this name here, but it really does make it click and go for your peer-to-peer fundraisers. So again, to set that up, you'll just go under your fundraising tools, and then you'll see fundraiser templates here. I believe we are limited to one template with the giving event. So in order to have multiple templates, I do think you would have to upgrade to a subscription service, but I really think one template is plenty for your team to use, especially on a giving day. You're really only fundraising for the one event. So I will say just creating the one template with all of your supporters in mind, but that is a great way to support your peer-to-peer fundraisers. I'm not seeing any questions about the fundraiser templates in the chat. If you are following along on your own screen and you get to a question, feel free to pop it in. We can always come back to something here. A few things I do want to note on the fundraiser page, if you are helping your supporters get set up, or if you as an employee or a leader in your organization are setting up a peer-to-peer fundraiser, you would click into edit mode. So I just want to note the edit mode toggle as far as editing the page and adding information. If you're in edit mode, all of the pencil icons are showing. When you click out of edit mode, this is kind of that front-facing preview in a way. So you'll be able to see what it really looks like to donors. You may notice this donate button is grayed out. That's okay. Again, donations will open on August 22nd, and these donate buttons will then be active and they will not be grayed out. So don't let that concern you. I also want to note if your organization has a match, or if you as a peer-to-peer fundraiser set up a match, which we will get into how to set up matches later. But if there is a match set up, you'll notice there's a button here, or a badge, I guess, on your donate button. So we really put those matches in front of our donors' faces on our website. So that's something, a little incentive to have some type of a match. It really does kind of put it out there for the donors and incentivize giving. As far as the peer-to-peer fundraiser pages, they have their own donation reports. So the peer-to-peer leader, whoever owns the page, or you as the organization leader can pull reports by page. Once you have donations in here, you'll be able to sort by a custom date range. It does default to the last 30 days, So just something to note, you may need to change this time period. Or if someone says, I think I donated to the page, but I'm not sure if it was the right one. Once you have donations coming in, you can search the report and you'll be able to see, you could search by donor name or their email address, and you'll be able to find them in the report. The peer-to-peer fundraiser pages also have their own checkout settings. These are very similar to your organization's settings as far as that same thank you page. If you haven't set up a thank you page, this is kind of what it looks like when you get there for everyone. So make sure you click Add Custom Content. That will open up your WYSIWYG editor to create a thank you page. There are a lot of different options here. So you may want to keep it simple with just a thank you note that you've been using or preparing for the giving day. Copy paste that text in here. You're good to go. If you are more in the creative marketing or just enjoy making things look a little bit fancier, you can always click on inserting images. You can insert videos. You can also link text. And then there are other paragraph formatting options if you really want to go above and beyond as far as text color, text type, different sizes of text. And then again, those paragraph alignment, formatting, bullet points. Again, if this is overwhelming, don't worry about it. Just put a little bit of text here. If you're comfortable uploading an image, images go a long way. But really this can be as fancy or as minimalistic as you would like it to be. I also want to note you can have a button here that is either the default button, which takes a donor right back to the page they started on, or you can create a custom button where you put your own URL in here. So especially as an organization, when you're setting up your thank you page, maybe you want people to go sign up for a newsletter or visit your website. You can use the custom button to do something like that. On the peer-to-peer pages, they'll likely keep it as the default button, which is perfect. It just sends them right back to the page. Or you can help them use the custom button to send them back to your organization profile page. So you have a few options there. They also have the ability to put a little message in the receipt. So again, just a quick thank you for donating to my peer-to-peer fundraiser. If they leave it blank, that's totally fine. They will just get a donation receipt with the logo of your organization. So these are additional settings that they can use. I would say the main thing is you'll see this blue bar here says that the page is not live, publish now to start fundraising. Once an individual creates the page, they need to create publish, or they need to click publish to get it live on the site. So that helps because if a page is in edit mode and they're still decorating and finding images or writing their story, we don't want it out there yet. But a couple common questions we get sometimes that may come to you as the organization, depending who you are soliciting for peer-to-peer fundraising. They may be asking, well, I created a page and I'm not seeing it. You can go to that campaigns list. So back on your dashboard, I showed you the very first screen, that campaigns list. And if you don't see it here, you might just ask them, click back into the page. And if you have the blue bar, you need to click publish. Again, if anyone asks you any questions that you're not sure to help with, or if you have any questions that you need help with, you can always contact support@mightycause.com and we will help you with this type of thing. Our support team is on from 9 to 5 Eastern time, and if you email them, support@mightycause.com is usually the easiest way for us to kind of sort through what you're doing, include as many links as you can. But that is a way to get help as well. I do see one question. Susie asked if we are able to edit one of our board's peer-to-peer pages as the main page editor. Yes, you are. So if we go back to the Animal Humane Society example, you'll see this is what your campaigns list will look like once all your peer-to-peer fundraisers start flowing in. They have access to every single page. So they can click in, you can click in, Susie, and actually go into edit mode just like they would. So yes, you have full access to go edit a page. If someone's asking for help, or if you just notice something doesn't have an image, you have control as the organization to go in and make edits on those pages. That's a great question. I believe that's all I had for you on the peer-to-peer fundraising. Again, if you have any questions about this as we keep going, hopefully you're maybe logged in clicking alongside me. Feel free to pop those in the chat and we can always come back to this. So the next item I want to cover are matching grants. Oh, I do see one more question that just came in. Are the fundraiser pages essentially creating mini sites, or is it more geared towards them sharing links on social media? That's a great question. So this really comes down to your strategy. So I don't want to give you a specific answer on what to do necessarily. I would say they are creating mini sites. The benefit is that the page is customized to the peer-to-peer person. So again, if you have board members or volunteers who are influential, you want them to kind of have their messaging on a page. So they are creating a mini site with their own messaging. Ideally, as I mentioned, they might be putting some kind of note about their connection to your organization. It does help so that they have a custom link to share on social media. However, anyone can share your organization's link. And to get that, you just go to your organization page tab and then copy paste this URL right here. This is your direct link URL. Anyone can share that, and that's another great way. If someone doesn't want to create a page, they can just share your organization page out there. Okay, so we're going to go into, oh, sorry, one more question. Will it show on our page where you see how much is peer raised? We do not have a peer raised goal bar or progress bar per se. What we do have is, I'm now on your organization page in your dashboard. What we do have is a peer-to-peer section. And there are two options for that. So on your profile, if you would like to show peer-to-peer fundraising, you can click featured campaigns and select specific campaign pages from a search. So if I were to open this up, you'll be able to search for campaigns in your organization profiles campaigns. You can feature specific campaigns here, or a very easy way to do it, you just click plus supporting campaigns, and once the campaigns are created, it will show all peer-to-peer campaigns in this section. So again, right now there are none in this account. Let me go back to our demo site. There might be something to show here. Here, so this is a great example. So they're featuring a specific campaign here, or if they just did supporting campaigns, you'll see it creates a list of all. So that's a really easy way. If you just show the supporting campaigns tab on your profile, you'll be able to see all peer-to-peer fundraisers. Okay, so we're going to move on to matching grants. Matching grants is probably one of the more important tools, I would say, as far as soliciting donations and incentivizing donations. It really gives your supporters something to talk about. It gives your organization something to talk about as far as social media or the emails that you're sending. Being able to say that your donation is going to be matched really incentivizes donors to give, and sometimes to give a little more. So under your fundraising tools, once again, this is how you would get to your matching grants. You'll see fundraising tools, matching grants is your tile on the farthest top right. When you click in here, you'll get to your matching grants management dashboard. This is what it'll look like when you get here. It will be completely empty, but this is great. This is where you can start adding matches as you go. So again, you'll see the create button up here, just like with the other pages. When you click create, it will open a match creation page for you with some information to fill in. So I will show you what this looks like filled in on our demo site, but I want to go over it really quickly as far as what you'll see when you really first click in. You can name the match sponsor. This is required information, but you'll notice you can hide the name publicly. So if you have an anonymous match sponsor, or if the match sponsor maybe is your organization putting out its own match, you can always hide the name and just leave it anonymous. You can put the match value here. I do want to note, if you were to update the match value, you cannot lower the match value because that would affect donations while they're live, but you can always increase the match value. So if you start with a $5,000 match or even $500 match, those are equally as impactful. Let's say you start with a $500 match and then someone comes in and says, oh, I see your match is almost used up. I'm a board member, I'm feeling generous. I want to give you another $500 to continue the match. You can either schedule a second match, which I'll show you how to do, or you can increase the value of your current match just by going in and editing. You will want to include your match value in the page metrics. Most matches are handled offline, so likely you'll be getting a check. If the match donor wants to pay online, then you would not check this box because their donation will also be accounted for in your metrics and you don't want anything double counted. So you will uncheck this box. You can have an image for the match. This is great if you do have a corporate partner or a small business that is helping to donate, or again, if you have a donor who wants their business recognized or wants a photo of their family, if they're a former client or something, you can put a photo here as far as the match image. And then the public title of the match goes here. So this is where you have 60 characters to come up with something catchy, or you can just say matching grant for Texoma gives. So really keep it simple if you like, but you can also get a little creative depending on who your match sponsor is. The start and end date are probably the most important setting as far as how the match will be applied to your donations. So you will want to make sure this start date is no later than probably the 22nd, I would say, if you're going to start it for early giving. If you're holding on to the match until the day of giving, which is totally fine, then you'll start it at not only September 5th, but you'll also want to start it at 00:00:00 a.m. and then it may or may not reformat to 12 a.m. You just want to make sure that it starts at 12 a.m. because if for some reason your match gets set up to a default time of 10 or 12, once the day is already started, it may not match all donations. So you just want to make sure that you not only set the start date, but also the start time. I would say that's one of the most commonly asked questions of our support as far as why did a donation not get matched? It's just a little time update. If for some reason that happens to you, you can edit the time and it will retroactively apply to those donations. So by updating the time, you can correct that yourself. But again, if you have any questions while this is happening, you would just go to support@mightycause.com and we're happy to help you. And then the end date, I would say probably just the end of the event. You can extend it a little beyond, but when donations close, the match will no longer be open. So I would say putting the end date at the end of the giving day is probably the best bet here. If your match is used up before the end date that you put here, it will automatically close. So you don't have to do anything if it's fulfilled in like the first half of the day. Your match will close and it will no longer show up. I do see a question, great question. Donors can give any day from August 22nd to September 5th. That is correct. So we open giving early August 22nd to start giving ahead of the giving day and then the giving day itself. So that full window of time just to make sure that everyone gets a chance to donate. Can you explain again? Yes, when and when not to leave the check mark for the page metrics. Yes, so if your match donor is paying the match anywhere outside the platform, so I would say like a check, cash, a donation just ahead of time, maybe they paid on your website donation link, then you would check the box to include the match value because our system has not seen that donation, so it's not going to be showing up anywhere in here. So that means that for every $1 that's given, $2 shows up on your metrics. The reason you would uncheck the box is if your donor wants to give the match online. So whether that is a donation during early giving that's going to be the match, or a donation on the day via the online website, or there is an option to pay the match via a direct link once the match has closed. If they want to basically at all pay the donation online using our platform, you would uncheck this box. So I think most commonly I see people check the box because they receive a match as a check or they receive it far ahead of the event. But you would uncheck the box if the donation will go through the Texoma Gives platform. After you've set your time and date, you will set the match type. Here is probably the most common match type that we see. It's 100% of each donation. That's a one-to-one match. If you want to do 50% of each donation, that would extend your match a little further. So thinking about those small but impactful matches of maybe $250 or $500, you may do matching half of the percent or half of the donation, 50%. Something else you can do if you know that you have larger donors coming in on Texoma Gives Day, you can also put a threshold on how much it will match per donation. So to make the match go farther, maybe you only want it to match $10 of each donation, like this example, or up to $100, but then you don't want the match to get used up. So you stop it at $100 per donation. This just helps your match go a little farther depending what your settings are. This also is something you could advertise. So maybe you are saying, we'll match up to $10 for every donation given on Texoma Gives Day. And then you would just set up this setting here. Again, that's not required. You can just do match 100% of every donation. Another option that you have is a cumulative threshold match. So a lot of times, if you have a larger match donor, they want to make sure that you meet the match before you receive it. So you could choose to apply the total match when you reach the match value. So if your match is $1,000, once you've raised $1,000, then the match will be applied to everything. You also have the option for a quantity of donations. So you can say, we'll be able to match all donations 100% one-to-one once we reach 50 donations total or 20 donations total. The third option is to match when a certain number of unique donors is reached. Unique donors is identified by email address, and that's across the entire platform. So looking at prizes and everything, unique donors is by email address. You can also say we need 25 unique donors to reach the match, and then it will be applied. So these are more of group matches in a way versus matching each donation at a certain percent. You can also set a minimum amount before the donation's applied, so we'll match any donation of $25 or more. You can incentivize that a little bit larger donation by saying we'll match your donation if you give us at least $25. So that helps incentivize giving. Again, not required. These are all optional. You can include offline donations in the match. I do recommend unchecking this box because a lot of the times, again, we're incentivizing giving. You want to incentivize giving online for Texoma Gives because that's what helps you qualify for the prizes. So I would say if you want to try and qualify for prizes and you're using your match to incentivize giving, you probably don't want to include offline donations in your match so that you can say we're matching all donations given through the platform. Again, that just helps really specify for donors, like you have to give through the platform. And then on the other side, it helps you qualify for the prizes. I do recommend checking this box, including your fundraisers in the match. This is where your peer-to-peer fundraisers, any donations they bring in will also qualify for the match. If you uncheck this box and someone receives a donation through their peer-to-peer fundraising page, it will not be matched, even if you have a match live. So I would recommend checking this box so that any donation given to your organization is applied to the match. And then you can also choose to apply the match once per donor. So that would be once per email address, again, per unique donor. So this is a great option if you have people giving throughout the day, or if you just want to make the match go a little bit longer, you can apply it once per donor versus to any donation. And then down here is the email that will receive a notification when the match is closed. This email will receive that fulfillment link. The fulfillment link is completely optional. So I do want to note, a lot of times I recommend if you're an organization and you have a match donor, that you still put an organization member's email here, because then you can manage, do I need to forward that link to the person so that they can pay the match online? Or do we just get notified the match is closed and I can go tell the donor, yay, we reached our match, thank you again. I do think sometimes if you put the donor's email here, there can be confusion on whether they need to click the link and fulfill the match, unless you've planned that ahead of time, I guess. If you've talked to them and said, oh, I'm going to put your email here, and then it will send you a link to fulfill the match online. If they use the match fulfillment link, you do want to uncheck this box because then their fulfillment will be done through the platform and you don't want it double counted. Again, I think the best solution here is to put your email as the organization member and then decide what's best from there as far as forwarding the link or not. So I want to show just really quickly what it looks like to have this filled in. So if you had a match, you'll see there's an image here. There's some information about the donor, the match value. This donor chose to match 100% up to $50 per donation in this example, and they are applying the match once per donor and including their fundraisers in the match. This is a backend setting, so you don't have to worry about that. And then the email is coming to me since I set up the sample match. But that's what it might look like filled in. One other thing I want to show you with this, because we have a match live, it'll be easy to show you. If you have multiple matches, you can queue them up. So you'll see when I clicked create new match, I get that same match creation page that pops up. I would fill this out just like the first match, but you'll see that now that I have a match set up, I can actually queue. This option shows up to queue the match behind another grant once it completes. So I can decide that once Beco Draper's match of $10,000 is reached, this match will then go live. So this is a great way if you have multiple matches from multiple donors, instead of continuing to just pad that first match and adding to it, you can actually queue up a new match, and that way it'll launch when the other one is complete. This is super important too. If you have multiple matches, you really want to queue them up, because otherwise they will all run at one time and all donations will be matched 2 or 3 times, and then they will all run out at one time. So just thinking about if you have multiple matches, you really want to make sure you use this queue setting in order to avoid one person's donation wiping out all of your matches. So just another setting to really focus in on there, that queue the matches. I'm not seeing too many questions about matching grants in the chat right now. So I'm going to try and go back and answer some of these other questions that came in. Again, if you are clicking around as we go or exploring your dashboard right now while we're on the webinar, feel free to put questions in the chat related to fundraising campaigns and peer-to-peer fundraising or matches or otherwise. So we still have about 20 minutes left in the webinar, so I'm happy to answer any additional questions anyone has. So starting at the top, asked about, would like more clarity on featured campaign tab is for. So that is what we touched on briefly with how to show peer-to-peer campaigns on your page. So if you're logged in and you go to your organization page tab in your dashboard, this is where, when you're toggled into edit mode, again, very important, toggle into edit mode, and you can add that section here for featured campaigns. Now, if you use the featured campaigns versus the supporting campaigns tab, this is where you will be searching for a specific campaign to feature on your page, and then you add it as a badge. The other option, if you don't want to feature specific campaigns, is to add this. This is what it would look like before you add it, is to add this supporting campaigns tab. And again, it will just show all campaigns supporting your organization. So the featured campaigns just gives you a little control over which campaigns to show. Asking about how to customize donation options on your profile. That would be, let me go back to Leslie's dashboard. If you are under donation form, donations are not open yet. So once donations open on August 22nd, when you click on checkout donation form, you will see that you can customize these amounts. So starting August 22nd, early giving will be open. You'll be able to go in and customize your amounts here. And then you can even put a description. So a great thing to do for donor stewardship. Ideally, you're probably in the one-time donation. The good thing to do for donor stewardship is to add a description with your amounts. Yes, so starting August 22nd, you'll go to checkout, donation form, and then you can go in here and customize those amounts to help your donors decide what to give. If you are a small org with no website, Canva for Nonprofits requires a website. This may be something to talk to Leslie about, depending on your local options. I would say if they accept your organization page as a website, I have had organizations just start using this as like their own mini website. So again, this URL right here can be copy pasted Canva for Nonprofits may accept this. I haven't had anyone tell me either way, but this is technically a web page, so this might work for your website. So as a small organization, you are welcome to use your organization profile page as a website. However, again, I'm not sure if Canva will accept that or not, but it's worth a try. And again, just check with Leslie on the other local options for setting up a website. Kia was asking, will we be able to generate a QR code? Yes. So again, with this link right here, the direct link to your organization page, you can create a QR code either in Canva if you have it, or there are several free QR code creators out on the internet if you just do a quick Google search. So you'll just be able to use this link right here to create a QR code that goes straight to your page. And it looks like a few people put some links on how to do that in the chat as well. Thanks, Mark and Rachel, for helping. Let's see. Oh, another great question. Our organization isn't listed on the website. What do we need to do to be listed on the website? So the best way to check if you're not listed on the website, we're going to go back a little bit here. You'll want to log in and get to this overview page. Once you're on the overview page, it's possible you'll see that your organization setup is incomplete. You'll want to double check your to-do list and see if there are any items left on your to-do list. These will keep you from being approved technically until you've completed them. I did note earlier, EFT setup, once you've submitted the information, our team has to review it. So that can sometimes be a holdup, but we are reviewing weekly. So by August 22nd, you will not have to worry about that. We will get everyone through the system by that point. But definitely double check, have you gotten check marks on every other item, and have you submitted your EFT setup? One of the things with the EFT setup is that you can upload documents and put everything in, and then it'll just sit there. Make sure you click submit so that it comes through to our team. So on that EFT setup page, once you've uploaded your documentation, just make sure you click that submit button. But these are items that are needed to show up on the website, and you will see your registration for Texoma Gives is pending. If for some reason you do not have this message about your registration is pending, if you don't have any kind of your registration message on your overview page, you may not have filled out a registration form. So I know Leslie is taking email requests to potentially fill out a form late. The form right now has been closed. At this point, we're really onto the to-do list. But if for some reason you don't have anything about your registration on your dashboard page, you can contact Leslie and see if she is able to help you and if it's not too late to get back in with the registration form. Oh, great question. If you get a check made out to your organization, how would you enter it? You will go right to your reports section, and you can go to all donations or offline donations. I like to just go to all donations, and then you will click add offline donation and enter the information here. Something very important, of course, is the source, so we can kind of track where are these offline donations coming from to better service our organizations. Definitely the first and last name. You'll see last name's optional if someone wants to stay anonymous. Email is also optional. The external tracking ID, this is, you'll notice optional. You don't have to have something here. It doesn't have to be a number. This is just for your record keeping. So when you pull a report, this tracking ID might help you with maybe where to account for this in your system. And then you can do any notes. So for example, if the check you receive is a matching grant, you would put in the notes matching grant donor. And that just helps again with record keeping to help us and you see that was a matching grant donation. And then just like regular donations, you have the option to hide their name or their amount from public display so that when it's on the giving timeline, it won't show up if they would prefer that it not show up. So again, that's just under donations and add offline donation. And you can just add them one by one. You will notice there is an import option. Most of us don't need that. It is, you see the little fire symbol, that is a paid feature. I would say just for free, add them one by one. Connie, great question. Donations made outside the platform won't affect prizes. I would recommend going and reading the different prize rules because I don't have 100% familiarity with every prize Leslie created. There may be some that involve offline donations, but a lot of the automated prizes do pull from online donations only. You could take your check in cash and then you could pay by credit card to account for the donation online. I think the benefit sometimes of offline donations, depending on their size, is that they don't assess the fees, obviously, because it's done offline. So if you were to donate online on behalf of the donation, just to put it in the prize pool, it will be assessed the fees. So I don't know that I'd recommend that. I think just encouraging your donors to donate online as much as they're comfortable. Maybe if someone's bringing money to the office, they just want some help donating online. A lot of people bring money in person because they're not familiar with websites and computers. So being able to sit down and help them donate when they get there is another option. But definitely check the prize rules because I'm not sure Leslie may have a few different types of prizes that it could qualify for. How do we know what link to send people for your organization page? So when you're in your dashboard and you click on organization page, this is where your on-page editing is done. When you toggle out of edit mode, you will get the direct link. It's keeping edit mode in there. But you can share this link, or the other thing you can do is go to the actual search on texomagives.org and search for your organization. All you would do is click on your organization and then copy paste from organization page. Again, just copy paste that URL. The point of entering offline donations is to be eligible for prizes. It really depends on the prize rules that Leslie set up. So Mark, I would say if you contact Leslie via email just to clarify the offline donation rules, that might be the best way to get that information. Again, depending which prizes involve which types of donations. The main point I would say on our site of entering offline donations is really more record keeping. So the reason we have it as a feature is so that you can add an offline donation into your pool. And then when you pull reporting, maybe you're looking at next year, you want to see last year's donors. It just kind of helps with keeping all of your records in one place. So when you come down to kind of why we have it on the platform, it's to help you with record keeping and keeping all of the information in one place. It also helps Leslie see what donations are coming in for Texoma Gives overall, as far as the actual impact of the day online and offline. But yeah, again, I would say if anyone has questions about offline donations and prizes, you would want to email Leslie directly. Okay. I'm not seeing any other questions coming in. I'm going to give it a couple minutes in case anyone else has something they're typing out. I don't know if I have anything really to show you while that's happening. So thanks for joining us. Again, I'm going to stay on a couple more minutes in case any other questions are in the process of being typed. But thank you so much. Everyone is free to go if you've gotten the information that you needed. And hopefully we see you all on August 22nd. Again, I'm going to put it in the chat. Actually, our email for support at mightycause.com. You can send all questions here. We also can send the questions over to Leslie. I do see some more questions coming in. This is great. Are the prizes published? Oops, typing in the wrong box. Let's see. I believe they are on texomagives.org at this point. If you go to for nonprofits and prizes, yes. Actually, so here it is, first bullet point. This actually does clarify, I think, several questions we got. Online donations qualify for prizes except for the offline donation prize. So offline donation prizes, a specific one to offline donations. So to answer the questions of those who wanted to know if they would count for a prize, that first bullet point kind of answers that. And then I won't read this to you. You can definitely go here and check these out on your own, but it looks like Leslie has a great variety of prizes set up to accommodate various nonprofits, areas, sponsors, everything. Some in-person prizes. Yeah, so I would say just go check out the texomagives.org/p/prizes page for the prizes information. Annette, great question. Can only the page admin enter offline donations? Yes, so only an administrator of a page can enter those offline donations. If you need to add someone as an administrator, right now I'm on that dashboard page. When you're logged in, you'll go all the way down to settings, and then under admins, you can add and remove admins. So if you need to add some admins to help you with any kind of donation entry or other items on the giving day, you as an administrator can actually add additional admins here. Yes, the prize rules are listed just for everyone to see. I will paste this link into the chat for everyone, texomagives.org/p/prizes. And then Julie, I'm thinking you're asking if we can see the webinar again. This webinar is recorded. We will send out the recording. I believe it will go out through Leslie, so I'll be sharing it with her to post on the Texoma Gives page. I want to say that would be under trainings or resources. Yes, so under trainings, you'll be able to see, again, this one will then be added, watch replay. Again, Leslie's on jury duty today, so this may take a couple days to get up, but just keep checking back on this trainings link. And I will also put that in the chat for everyone if you'd like to bookmark it. Okay, thank you all. It was great to have you. I appreciate all the questions. Again, I'll stay on for just like one more minute in case anyone is still typing. But I appreciate your time, and we're looking forward to August 22nd. So reach out to support if you have questions, reach out to Leslie. We are very excited to have you, and have a great rest of your week. All right, looks like that's all the questions. So thank you again. I'm going to end the webinar. The support email again is support@mightycause.com if you have any additional questions, but thank you again and have a great rest of the week.